Right now, in Los Angeles area, Santa Clarita Valley, sellers are watching their homes sit on the market and then cut their prices by tens of thousands of dollars just to get buyers back through the door. The scary part is most of them never saw it coming. They thought they priced it correctly. They thought buyers would negotiate. They thought the market would respond the same way it did a few years ago. But instead, buyers disappeared, showing slowed down, and the listings start getting stale. Then come the conversation every seller hates hearing. We may need to reduce the price. And by that time, the conversation happens, the strongest buyers are usually already gone. Because today's buyers are no longer negotiating with overpriced homes. They're ignoring them. And that one shift is changing everything in California market right now. So today, I want you to walk you through exactly why so many homes are taking price cuts, what sellers are getting wrong before they even hit the market, and how to avoid becoming the next listings buyers scroll past online. Because in today's market, pricing wrong doesn't just cost you money, it costs you momentum, leverage, and sometimes even the sale itself. Hi, my name is Rima Rafeh with the Rafeh Group with eXp Realty here in Santa Clarita Valley, Los Angeles area. And if you're thinking about selling your home in Los Angeles area, Santa Clarita, this is one of the most important market conversations you can hear right now because the market has fundamentally changed and sellers who understand the shift early are still winning while others are chasing the market downward. Let's start with what actually changed because this is where most sellers are still disconnected from reality. For years, sellers had all the leverage, inventory was tight, interest rates were low, and buyers were competing aggressively for almost everything that hits the market. Homes sold quickly, often over asking price, and sellers got used to a market where buyers stretched emotionally and financially just to secure a home. But today's buyer is completely different. Today's buyer is cautious, analytical, payment sensitive. They are looking at monthly affordability much more than they are looking at emotional excitement. Rates have changed and affordability changed dramatically, and buyers are evaluating homes through a completely different lens right now. That means they are comparing more carefully, they are slower to act, and they are more selective, and they are much less willing to stretch beyond what feels comfortable financially. That one shift alone is why pricing matters more now than it has in years. Now here's the problem. Many sellers are still mentally living in old market. They are pricing based on what their neighbors sold back in 2021 and 2022. They are anchored to peak pricing. They are expecting the same urgency from buyers, and they believe if the home is slightly overpriced, buyers will still come through and negotiate. But that is not what buyers are doing anymore. Today's buyer see an overpriced home and simply move on to the next listing. And this is where sellers lose the most money because they don't realize the market is rejecting the price until weeks later. Now let's talk about the first 2 weeks your home is on the market, because this is one of the most important parts of your entire sale. The first 2 weeks are when your listing gets the most attention it will ever receive. Buyers see it, agents see it, everyone watches new inventory. This is your biggest opportunity to create momentum, urgency, and emotional excitement around your home. But if your pricing is off during that launch window, buyers hesitate. And hesitation is dangerous in this market because once buyers hesitate, they move on. And once they move on, you don't get that first impression back. This is where sellers make the mistake of thinking we can always lower the price later. By the time sellers lower the price, the strongest buyers are often already gone. Those buyers already bought another home. They already moved into escrow. And now your listing has shifted emotionally in the eyes of the market. And now buyers start asking different questions. What's wrong with it? Why it hasn't sold? Maybe the seller is unrealistic. And once that perception starts forming, your leverage begins disappearing quickly. Now let's talk about stale listing energy, because this is something buyers absolutely feel emotionally, even if sellers don't realize it. A fresh listing feels exciting. Buyers rush to see it. Agents talk about it. It creates curiosity. But a listing that sits starts feeling weaker emotionally. Buyers become skeptical. They assume something must be wrong and they negotiate harder. They stop feeling the urgency. Even if the house itself is beautiful, perception changes everything. And this is why days on the market matter so much in today's market. Because buyers are no longer reacting to listing emotionally the way they once did. They are studying them and watching them and waiting for weakness. And when they sense weakness, they wait for price cuts. Now let's talk about another major issue that's happening right now. Bad pricing strategy from agents. And I know this may sound uncomfortable, but it's true. Some agents are still pricing home based on old market because they're emotionally attached to the old comps themselves. Others are pricing high intentionally just to win the listing. This is what the industry called buying the listing. The seller hears a bigger number and feels excited. The agent gets the contract, but 30 days later, the market rejects the price and now the seller is forced into reductions. And the frustrating part is most sellers don't realize this happened until it's way too late. Because once the home sits, the market starts controlling the conversation instead of the seller. And now let's talk about something extremely important. Small price cuts usually do not solve the problem. This is another mistake sellers make constantly. If your home is overpriced for $40,000 and you reduce it by $5,000, buyers still feel this disconnect emotionally. The value still does not feel aligned. So what happens? The home continues sitting. And now the seller starts chasing the market downward, one reduction at a time. 5,000 here, 10,000 there, and another reduction 2 weeks later. And every reduction weakens the listing more emotionally because buyers start sensing desperation. That's why strategic pricing from the beginning matters so much, because the market rewards accuracy right now, not ambition. And now let's talk about presentation, because this is another area where sellers are getting caught off guard. In today's market, photos are your first showing. Buyers are scrolling quickly online, comparing your home to dozens of other options within seconds. If your photos don't immediately stand out, buyers keep scrolling. That means lighting matters and staging matters, decluttering matters, and landscaping matters. Even smell matters when buyers finally walk in. Today's buyers want homes that feel emotionally easy. They want bright spaces, clean presentations, and homes that feel move-in ready emotionally. That does not mean every home needs a full remodel, but homes that feel neglected, cluttered, dark, or overwhelming are struggling much more right now. Now let's talk about marketing, because simply putting a home on the MLS is no longer enough. That worked in the peak market because buyers were desperate. Today's buyers need a reason to care. That means listing needs strategy behind them. Professional video, social media marketing, targeted exposure, broker outreach, and open house strategy, a launch strategy. The homes performing best right now feels like launches, not listings. And the homes that quietly appear online without momentum are often the homes taking price cuts later. Now let's talk about buyer psychology, because this one is the biggest shift sellers need to understand. Today's buyers are not thinking, oh, I better hurry before this home is gone. They are thinking, let's wait and see if the seller reduces the price. That is the market shift. And once sellers understand that buyers are no longer rushing emotionally, they start approaching pricing very differently. Because buyers know inventory is rising. Buyers know homes are sitting longer. And buyers know that sellers are becoming more negotiable. And that changes buyer confidence dramatically. Now let's talk about how smart sellers are doing differently, because this is where opportunity still exists. The seller winning right now are preparing before they list. They are getting pre-listing inspections. They are handling repairs early, and they're investing in presentation, and they are studying active competition carefully. And they're pricing strategically from day one, not emotionally. Because of that, they create a stronger momentum early while other listings are sitting. Now let's zoom out for a second, because this is important. This does not mean homes are not selling. Homes are still selling every single day. Strong homes are still creating activity. But this market is rewarding preparation and pushing unrealistic expectations. That is the difference. The sellers succeeding today are not necessarily the sellers with nicest homes. They are the sellers with the best strategy. So let's bring this all together. If you are thinking about selling your home in the Santa Clarita Valley, Los Angeles area, understand this clearly. Buyers have changed. Pricing matters more than ever, and momentum matters more than ever. And overpricing is no longer creates urgency and leverage. It creates silence. And when silence starts, the market becomes much harder to control, because every extra week on the market changes buyer perception. Every price cut weakens leverage, and every delay makes buyers more cautious. So the goal is not just to list your home, the goal is to launch it correctly from the beginning. Because the homes that win in today's market are the homes that entered the market prepared, positioned, and priced correctly from day one. I'm Rima Rafeh with the Rafeh Group here in Santa Clarita Valley. And if you like this video and it helped you, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with another homeowner who needs to hear this. And I'll see you on the next video.